Hey, hello, I'm Kråkan, also known as Comix, and welcome to Yacc, yet another Crowcast where I pick a game I played for a week and then I talk about it. This week's game is Comix Zone for the Sega Genesis. It was released in 1995 and it's a puzzle beat 'em up, developed by Sega Technical Institute and published by Sega. And there will also be spoilers up ahead, just so you know, but first a little backstory. So I got the Sega Mega Drive collection some time ago and I played this game like once or twice on that, and I figured it will make a good episode. When you start up the game, you get the Sega logo and a voice saying check 1, 2, and a hand-drawn hand comes in and draw the word presents. And then you get the game splash screen, you get the option of starting a new game, you get options such as control and jukebox, and in the jukebox you can play different sounds from the game, like, well, the soundtrack. And then you get an intro cinematic, like a cutscene in New York, current times. There's a thunderstorm going on, and you're this comic book creator called Sketch Turner. And a bad guy emerges from your comic book and you're drawn in, and this has something to do with the thunderstorm making your comic come to life or something like that. And Sketch Turner is a stereotypical 90s looking dude. He has the hair, the glasses, and just Google the cover and you know exactly what I mean. And then it's time for episode 1, Night of the Mutant. So you talk to this girl and she says that you're the chosen one, and Sketch remarks that he is the creator of this comic book. So you get 3 items that will help you on your journey. So there's the grenade, the health potion, and the knife. And you press down on the D-pad to pick up items when you're above them. And this game plays like a comic book. So you go from panel to panel, page to page, and Sketch jumps between the frames. He walks and he climbs, and it's kind of a cool idea. So Sketch walks over to the first panel, the first frame, and a monster is drawn in. This is like a tutorial battle, and it's drawn in by a hand, quite literally. So this is like a dystopian setting, I guess. The Statue of Liberty is in the background, or at least the head. Really cool. So you punch with the square button, or you kick, and you jump with the X button, and circle is block, and triangle, L1 and R1 are the items in your box. So you can have 3 items at a time. And you can also perform combos by pressing different direction on the D-pad. And a couple of panels in, you will find your pet rat, Roadkill. He's encaged by the enemies, so you free him. And he's useful. He takes up 1 item slot, and he can actually find items for you by gnawing on the page, which is also kind of funny. He can also flip switches, because this game is not just a beat 'em up, it's also a puzzle game at points. So you go down into the sewer, you beat up a couple of enemies, and the stage ends with Sketch Turner making a huge jump and finishing the stage. And he turns briefly into this superhero character, and he doesn't exactly know what's going on, but it's kind of a comedic effect. This game is really hard. It has a steep learning curve, and I learned the hard way. So in the next level you need to disable some fan blades and beat up a couple of aliens and metal scorpions that drops from other metal constructs while your life bar is slowly draining. I don't know what's on with that. Then you have to flip a couple of switches and beat some more green monsters up, and then the end boss is just this goofy weird thing. And the next stage is the Himalayas, so snow starts to fall and you are entering a tournament for some reason. So you have to fight your way through the panels and to the tournament itself, where you have to fight other characters, such as a very Street Fighter looking character called Cammy, or at least it's a lookalike of her. So later there's a rope climbing segment and then the level ends. The next stage is Temple, so more fighting, cool effects, the breaking through the panels and borders and stuff like that. Then you have to escape a burning page because the comic book is starting to burn for some reason. And then the boss here is an old guy with long fingers that shoots projectile, and there's like a water floor, if that makes sense. And now it's time for the dried up sea stage. So you fight some green aliens, you use the rat to progress, you have some landmines leading into a cave section with flying enemies and scorpions and green monsters, and the rat helps with the puzzle because otherwise you can't really progress. And then it's time for the grave shipyard. So you go on the ship, and it's apparently a weapons factory, so you fight a couple of enemies and they're actually used to destroy a hydraulic press in order for you to progress. And then it's time for the final boss, Mordus, and he is, well, the guy that put you into the comic book in the first place. So you need to save Alicia from him. He actually puts her in like a tank, and it's slowly filling up with water. So if you don't save her before it's, well, filled up, she drowns. And once you beat this guy, and there are a couple of endings to this, well, there's actually 2. So the good ending is the comic book becomes a success, and Alicia joins the American military. She becomes the chief of security for the US, and she apparently turns into a real person. She was this comic book character before, but who cares about logic at this point? Roadkill the rat gets 100 pounds of cheese, and roll the end credits. So gameplay, you're sketch turner sucked into your own comic book, forced to fight some evil characters and eventually the boss Mortis. Control, the D-pad is movement, square is punch and kick, X is jump, circle is block, and while doing attacks, pressing the D-pad in different direction makes different combos and attacks possible. The L1, R1 and triangle uses the items that you have and start pauses the game. Graphics. So this game looks like a 16-bit comic book come to life. So the character has speech bubbles and they taunt one another like sketch taunts to enemies and so on and so forth. You get the classic dynamic effects such as pow, slap, and it's just like a comic book come to life basically. Sound and music. Howard Rosen made a soundtrack for this game. And if you ever played a Sega Genesis game, you know that sound chip can make games sound terrible, like it's played out of a tin can. So this game tries to emulate rock music. Some of the voice samplings are actually really good, and I like the track. It's like a grunge track from what it's called Graveyard Ship, and it's really good. I liked it. Easter egg, secrets, and glitches. So this game has two endings. The bad ending is beating the final boss and the girl drowns, so the comic books get destroyed and you don't get the girl in the end. The good ending is, well, you beat the bad guy, the comic book is success, and you get the girl in the end. In conclusion, I wrote, yes, try it if you like comic books and beat 'em ups. So this game is short but hard. You can beat it within 40 minutes if you know what you're doing. I like the visuals, they're great. The music kind of fits the whole concept. The visual look is great. I like the comic book style. And yeah, I mean, I like the design concept, as I said, going from panels to panels. However, this game is not casual. It's hard as nails. But if you're curious, you can check it out, I guess. So anyway, thanks for listening and or watching, and take care.